The Drop, our ESPN hockey digital show. Arda Ocal, ESPN NHL senior writer Greg Wyshynski, who is properly dressed for the occasion.
Yeah.
I just walked off the set of The Point, coming here to do the drop and then going to do some raps afterwards, which is why I'm still wearing the suit and tie. Forgive me, okay, people? It'll be a one and only time, but we got a huge night of hockey.
Huge.
Okay, it starts at 7 p.m. Canes and Capitals only on ESPN Plus, and then the Golden Knights and Bruins 9 p.m. on ESPN.
Yes.
What's your latest stuff on ESPN.com?
Oh, well, I wrote a column today about how we probably shouldn't be mean to Russian players because of the things that their country is doing. It's a very nuanced situation. You should definitely give it a read. It's tense times.
You and Emily Kaplan have been doing a great job of covering all of that. We're going to move right along here on The Drop with a segment that we like to call ZSPN. Look at that. We even have new graphics and everything. So this is where we cover all things Trevor Zegras. Let's take you now to this. Now, this is just my opinion, but Trevor Zegras is one of the most exciting athletes to watch.
Oh my goodness, what a goal! I've never seen anything like that.
They score! Trevor Zegras there pulls off the Michigan.
Doesn't get any more hockey than that flowing lettuce coming out of that tube. Trevor Zegras, you're an American beauty, man.
Yes, ZSPN, where we talk all things Trevor Zegras. And this week in Trevor Zegras' wish, he scores a game-winning goal with seconds to spare.
Now, Arda, we sometimes get accused of overrating this rookie's performances, but I might have to say this is the greatest game-winning goal in the history of the National Hockey League. Yep. I don't know if that's hyperbole, because it's Trevor Zegras, but I'm just saying, in the pantheon of game-winning goals, that's the best.
Yeah, over a century of NHL hockey, that is the single greatest game-winning goal in the history. You know what? Let's include all levels of hockey.
All levels of hockey.
Every the jungle,
single,
AHL, no matter
the
what.
Swedish, all of it.
Toronto Red Wings, no matter what. Listen, speaking of those Red Wings in Toronto, you know who played for them? Kevin Weeks. He joins us now, and he is a busy guy as well. He is actually in D.C. because you will see him on ESPN with the one and only Scott Van Pelt. What an assignment, Weeksy.
That looks to be real fun. I'm pumped to be on with SVP. We're going to have a blast. I think Bucci's going to join us as well. So, and more importantly, pumped to be here with both of you right now, too. So let's get it moving.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, sir. So let's talk about a little bit of the Bruins there against the Golden Knights tonight on ESPN. Jeremy Swayman having a great stretch of his season. Rookie of the month in February for the Boston Bruins. What is the likelihood he takes this job permanently from Linus Ullmark? And what is the likelihood that we're seeing ourselves the next in the succession? We went Timmy Thomas to Tuukka Rask to Jeremy Swayman?
A lot of people are late on the train. A lot of people are just late getting on the Swayman train right now. And I say that respectfully because going back to when he was at University of Maine, he was outstanding there. College hockey goalie of the year, the Mike Richter Award winner, came to Providence. He lit up Providence in the American League. Came to the NHL. He lit that up as well. Oh, what a save he makes there. He's been lighting it up. Now, I will say this. Ryan Mujanel, I know a couple of people in the Bees organization. Former teammates of mine. I mean, so many of them. Jamie Langebrunner, they all said, Weeksy, watch out for this guy, and he's been better than advertised for me. The crazy thing was they wanted to give Tuukka the opportunity to get his health back and to resume his career, which they did. Fortunately, he was able to get all the way back, but he ended up retiring as a result of the hip. They've got their goalie. It's Swayman. I like Ullmark as well, but Swayman is the guy going forward, and I'm so happy to see everybody's now finally realizing what I saw a few years back.
Weeksy, this is a topic that I have been hammering for weeks and months. Igor Shesterkin, New York Rangers. I'm saying, forget the Vezina Trophy. This guy is deserving to be in the Hart Trophy discussion. When I brought this up last week, though, Weeksy, this guy right here said, but you know what? He doesn't have enough games played. He's not even in the 7s and 8s in terms of percentage, the number in front.
65% of his team's games.
He's saying, not enough. Inconclusive. But what say you, Weeksy, the president of the goalie union?
Well, I was fortunate to play with a great goalie there and a great friend of mine in Henrik Lundqvist, whose jersey just went up to the rafters, and for very good reason, and who will ultimately end up in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto at the corner of Yonge and Front Street when it's all said and done. Igor Shesterkin is playing as well, if not better, if that's even possible statistically, than Hank did when he came in. Shesterkin is so smooth. His ability to go from post to post, very fluid. The way he sets up on those posts with ease, whether he's in an RVH, as you see here, a VH, if it's a butterfly slide going side to side, he's as comfortable on his knees as he has on his feet, and he's an outstanding first shot goalie. But when the game gets messy, as it does here in this sequence, he's able to battle through the blue paint as well. Benoit Allaire has done an amazing job with Shesterkin, just as he did with the King. He's doing with Shesterkin right now. Maybe we'll call him the Fresh Prince of New York. I don't know, maybe.
Weeksy, but how many games does a goalie have to play, in your opinion, to win an MVP? Like Hasek, Price, Theodore, those guys played over 80% of their team's games. Shesterkin's at 65%. Does he have to play more to win MVP? Can he win MVP only playing 65% of his team's games?
I think he can win MVP. If he gets 50, 55 games in, I think he can win the league MVP. He's been that dominant for this team. I spoke with Ryan Reeves this morning, and I asked him, I said, Revo, tell me about the chirping that you and Steve Ott were doing. He told me about that, but we'll save that for another time because we got into that in the early show. But at this point in time, he said, Weeksy, with this guy in there, with Shesterkin in, we feel we're never out of a game. He's so unbelievable. He's incredible. And that's with Ryan Reeves having played with the great Marc-Andre Fleury in Vegas as well. So he knows a thing or two about elite goalies, and everything he told me about Shesterkin is everything that we've seen. And he's not only playing at a high level, he's stealing games. And his save percentage right now at 940 tracks to be the highest. I think Jacques Plante had a 940 save percentage. And that's what Shesterkin's tracking, as well as being the fastest to 100 wins in Ranger history. So that's impressive.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. He's the president of the goalie union, okay?
All right.
If we have to go all the way back to Jacques Plante for a comparable, I'm pretty sure that's MVP talk, Greg.
Let's see.
Just saying.
Let's see Shesterkin play without a mask. Now listen, Weeksy. Marc-Andre Fleury, you just mentioned him. Now I've heard that Fleury, doesn't necessarily want to move at the trade deadline. I've heard that Chicago, in acquiring him, said we're not going to move you unless you want to be moved. He obviously moved his family to Chicago from Vegas in the offseason. Big move for him. Doesn't want to be away from him. But let's say some conditions change. Let's say he does want to move at the trade deadline, Weeksy. What team do you think would benefit the most from Marc-Andre Fleury on their roster after the trade deadline?
Well, listen, gents, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm having some audio issues here, but here's what I will tell you. Marc-Andre Fleury, I remember breaking the story about him getting traded from Vegas to Chicago. And I know how upset he was at that time. A lot of that was ultimately made public. But for Marc-Andre Fleury, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's the third winningest goalie all time. And I got to tell you, this guy is still elite. And of the potential options that are out there, he's far and away the best in terms of acquiring somebody on the trade market. Now, all that being said, he has control. He can determine his future. Does he want to stay in Chicago? Does he want to go and make himself available to be traded? That lies with him. He's earned the right to have that decision. He certainly has that in his contract. I've been in touch with his agent, Alan Walsh. This is something that's going to go down the line. And who knows, this might run up until deadline, March 21st, until we know what Marc-Andre Fleury ultimately wants to do. But either way, if I'm a team, Toronto Maple Leafs, if I'm a team,
Someone get this man some cough drops.
Edmonton, get me some halls here in D.C. If I'm either one of those squads, how can you not get Marc-Andre Fleury right now? I mean, that's the thing. So he's got the 10-team no-trade list. He has control. But if I'm either of those teams, I would be lighting up the Chicago Blackhawks, offering them whatever they want to bring him in. Because here's the thing. What happens if the Toronto Maple Leafs don't get out of the first round again this year? This will be the 8th consecutive year. And if you're Edmonton and you're up in oil country, and oil was trading at $120 a barrel yesterday, if you're Edmonton and you don't get out of the first round, do you get a little knock on the door and Connor McDavid says, I don't know about this, fellas? I don't know. Just saying.
Well, then, for the betterment of the league, let's hope they don't trade for Fleury.
I see what you did there. That was greasy, but effective.
Ooh.
But effective.
Hopefully you can hear us just fine. Before
I
we
got
let
you
you
now.
go,
Yeah, now
you
you're back.
stopped. Great. You stopped pucks for a living, okay? Those are sometimes perilous situations. Those rubber cylinders coming at you hundreds of miles an hour.
Vulcanized.
Then you go into broadcasting, and then you almost have a near-death experience thanks to a Zamboni. You got to talk to us about this, man.
Yeah, so what's crazy is before you roll the tape, we're up in, okay, you rolled it. So we're up at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. I'm alongside Scott Oak. It's early in my broadcast career. Watch the Zamboni. We're at the Dome. Now watch this. Go ahead and watch this. You see the way this is coming in? It's coming in hot. Excuse me, we're in Edmonton. Watch it. It's coming in hot, hot, hot. It's coming in. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. The shark is on the shore. So Scott thankfully pulled me away. But I just kept talking because I thought that's what you're supposed to do, as you see me doing here. I don't know. We get paid by the word. So I just figured I'd keep it rolling. But we had such fun with that. I got to tell you, my phone lit up. And the worst part about it is the next weekend, we were back there for a game for Hockey Night in Canada for the following weekend. And I went to the Zamboni driver. I'm like, yo, did you see us there? Like, bro, were you blindfolded? You didn't see us there? And here's the crazy thing. When that happened that we just showed you, you know when somebody steps on the gas and you hear the accelerator? It's like he sped up. He was trying to take us out. So I don't know what I ever did to him playing up there, but you know what? Fortunately, my fiance, she's from Alberta, so hopefully now that we're engaged, hopefully next time I'm up there in Alberta, I'll get a little more love.
There you go.
All I want to say is, judging by the reaction of that Zamboni driver, zero remorse.
None.
You could see it on his
None.
face.
Totally.
Yeah.
He's like, I got to mow these people down. I'm like, bro, like, honestly, this is an NHL game here right now. Come on. Like, I've never seen that before at any level. Outdoor rink, any of the minor hockey rinks growing up in Toronto, outdoor, indoor. I've never seen that before. That was absolutely hilarious.
You would make a great weather person, Weeksy. Imagine you out in the field holding onto a pole in
hurricane.
perilous weather. Like, nothing would faze you. The snow coming at you, nope, no problem. It's
You know
cold
what?
outside, Bob.
You know, truth be told, though, it's funny because you were saying about my previous career, my first career. I could tell you this. If you play goalie, to me, unless I was a fighter pilot or something of that nature, everything else is just seemingly calm. Because when you're playing net, it's so chaotic. It is so pressurized. You put so much pressure on yourself to be great for your teammates and the fans and your family and your organization. So anything else seems like it's just a little bit of a walk in the park. So I have a lot of fun with that now. But I literally, that guy almost ran us over, man. That was funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Weeksy's going to be during intermissions with Scott Van Pelt. It is Bruins and Golden Knights, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. We're going to miss you here in Bristol, buddy, but it's good to see you here.
Yeah, I'll see you. Great being with you last night, and look forward to seeing you guys in the studio in Bristol. And congrats, man. I'm loving this concept of the new show. So best of luck with it. It's going to be sweet, and it'll be great for you fans. So make sure you continue to tune in.
That.
Thank you very much to Weeksy. I love the guest list that we have for this show, by the way. You just saw Kevin Weeks, and now you're going to hear from a current NHL player. Greg Wyshynski had a chance to sit down with Toronto Maple Leafs forward, who's absolutely lighting it up, especially in the Calder Trophy conversation, Michael Bunting.
And it's intercepted by Bunting. Drops it off. Marner scores.
The wing moving in. Jackets defend. Backhanded and into the net.
Michael Bunting says, ring ding, that's all you.
27? I don't know. I'm 26, by the way.
26-year-old rookie, man. The Steve Buscemi with a skateboard meme of the NHL. Michael Bunting, forward, Toronto Maple Leafs, joins us here on The Drop. Buddy, if you win the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year, you'll be the oldest player to win it since Sergei Makarov won it in 89-90. I believe he was 67 years old. How does it feel to potentially be taking away this trophy from literal children if you win Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, obviously my path is a little different than other rookies that are going for the trophy, but you know, I'm still eligible, and I still, you know, passed all the rules. So yeah, I'm still competing for that, just like everybody else.
Love it. You know, you talked about your journey, and it's been an interesting journey. You know, we go from the Sioux Greyhounds, we got the Springfield Falcons, the Rapid City Rush. You got 5 years tour of duty with the Tucson Roadrunners. It's been an interesting path for you to get to this point, and I was wondering, along that path, what have you learned? What are the things that you discovered along the way to make you the player that you are today for the Leafs?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was, coming over adversity. Obviously the path wasn't the one I planned to get to the NHL, but now it's my path, and I take pride in that. And, it's pretty cool because, I have spent my time in the minors, and I have kind of done that grind, and now I'm finally in the NHL. So, I have the taste of the NHL, and I have the taste of the AHL, and I don't want to go back to the American League. So, it makes it that much special. Much more special. It's
quite some motivation. Like, I'm staying out of the A by any means necessary is now the motivation for you as a pro. I appreciate that. You took part in one of the craziest games of the season last weekend against the Detroit Red Wings. First of all, can you appreciate a game like that when you're in it, or is it just too nerve-wracking to appreciate?
Yeah. Going into the third period, we were up, 7-2. So our whole plan was just try to get through the 20 minutes and then get the win. But yeah, unfortunately, they just started scoring at will on us, and it was a whole new ball game. So I'd like to say I was having fun, but not really, because all the goals were coming against us in the third period. But luckily we were able to squeak away a win and take our 2 points and get out of Detroit.
But let me talk about that last play you had. By the way, you had a career-high 5 points in that game. That last play you had with the assist to Marner. Take me through that moment a little bit, if you remember it.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be able to pick it off in my zone, and I kind of saw Mitchie right when I grabbed the puck that he was sprinting behind me, and I kind of remember his play in Seattle, so I had that in my mind pretty much right away. I wasn't going to try to shoot it. I was passing it the whole time, so I just kind of wanted to get in front of the D and pick him and just give him a little drop to tap it in, and fortunately it worked out.
Well, there you go. You deked Nedeljkovic all the way to the concession stand, so something worked out nice on that pass. Now, we had your friend Austin Matthews on our show, The Point, recently, and he had some pointed comments about your abilities as a golfer.
Who's the foursome?
We got Michael Bunting, Morgan Riley, and TJ Brody.
I feel like Michael Bunting would be the best of the four. How far off am I?
Just about as far off as it gets. The worst so far. So.
Fair enough.
All right, Michael Bunting, the floor is yours. We give you this platform, sir, to defend the virtue of your golf game against Austin Matthews.
I wish I could say he was lying, but I did not have a good round that round, and we were partners, so I kind of let down the team a little bit, and we ended up losing that round. But in my defense, that was the first time I swung a golf club since summer, so I was a little rusty, and it is what it is, but I'm looking forward to the next rematch so I can redeem myself.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, you don't judge someone based on one. Like, we're not going to judge the Leafs based on the Sabres game. So in the grand purview of your golf game, like, are you a good golfer? Are you a better golfer than Austin Matthews?
I wish I could say I am, but no, Matty's a good golfer. Actually, it is true. I probably was the worst out of the four. That's why I got teamed up with him. So I'm sure he's not going to be sending a text my way if he wants to play a few rounds and try to win some money. I think I'll be the last person he picks up for that again. So.
Awesome stuff. Michael Bunting, thank you so much for joining The Drop. We appreciate you, and good luck the rest of the way with the Leafs.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, solid interview, but come on, I was expecting a little bit more chirping there. He was just like, yeah, I agree.
Wait, did you see the shirt he was wearing? He's like sunshine and rainbows, man. He's not going to be snarking on his teammates.
Fair enough. Speaking of sunshine and rainbows, that might not be the sentiment among Flyers fans as we go towards the trade deadline. Of course, Claude Giroux has a big spotlight on him. Let's spotlight something that's happening on Saturday. Very special. So that game between the Hawks and the Flyers will be on ABC. That's a 3 p.m. Eastern start, also on ESPN+. But a really cool promotion. They're going to have Marvel Superhero Day presented by SeatGeek. So the kids and kids at Hart are encouraged to dress up as their favorite Marvel superheroes. The first 5,000 fans will receive this shirt.
Look at this.
This is pretty cool, actually. I got to say, I like these. I'm going to wear this on SportsCenter Snapchat. This is really cool. And a Gritty Iron Man variant cover edition of the Avengers number 53 comic book.
Yeah.
So Gritty's made it in comic book form.
I thumbed through it. Gritty defeats Thanos. No, he doesn't. But you know, I like it. It reminds me, Gritty, now that you look at him on the cover of a comic book, it looks a little bit like Sabretooth. Like Sabretooth a little bit.
Gritty Tooth, yeah.
When you look at that.
Yep. Saber Grit.
I don't know why he doesn't have his own mech suit like Iron Man.
He doesn't need
good.
one. He's Gritty.
That's a good point.
He doesn't need one. He doesn't need one. By the way, just to correct myself, the first 5,000 get the comic, and these shirts will be available for sale.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, now you got to buy the shirt.
Cool.
Yeah. There you go. Gritty and Iron Man.
You know what one of my favorite segments on the show is?
What's that?
The fact that we can call upon any single highlight from NHL history if we want.
Oh, yeah. Is that through the amazing genius of the NHL Highlight Nexus, Arda?
I believe it is.
Oh, it is.
What do you got for us, Greg?
Well, you know, I'm thinking to myself, we got comics at the Flyers game. We got comics right here. Got my Lion Cat shirt on from Saga. I'm wondering if there is some kind of NHL highlight where we can see comic books and hockey melded together. NHL Highlight Nexus, please show us that highlight.
Oh, yeah. All right. I remember this one.
Yes, the classic Superman cape moment for Patrick Kane in the All-Star Shootout competition.
Oh, and he dives, too. By the way, no, it's a Clark Kent.
Well, I mean,
it's not Patty, it's Patrick.
But it's both, right? Like, he's wearing the cape with the Clark Kent glasses, which is not...
He's
not canonical, by the way.
He's not keeping kayfabe,
be honest,
that's for sure.
He's not keeping
He
kayfabe.
definitely isn't. We have our next guest ready. Really excited to have him here on The Drop on all ESPN digital platforms. You have seen his stuff, his NHL coverage on Bally Sports. You've seen him probably most prominently on Friday Night Marbles on Twitch.
Of course.
He has a couple of podcasts as well. He's fixing his cam. It looks like he's got a bunch of Bruins jerseys behind him. It's the one and only Petey Marbles, Pete Blackburn. How are you, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
Great to see you. Great to have you on the show. So we had to have you on the show, obviously, because it's Bruins and Golden Knights on ESPN a little bit later on. What are your thoughts going into this game?
I'm excited. I mean, it's a rare matchup. You don't see it too often, but two good teams, two teams that I particularly care for. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, we wanted you on the show partially because we wanted to celebrate, well, not celebrate, we wanted to examine, that's the better word, examine Brad Marchand and all of his various trollings. So we're going to
celebrate him.
You could celebrate him.
You definitely
You can celebrate him.
As a Bruins fan,
So we're going to take a look at 5 moments for Brad Marchand and try to figure out where they fit on the Marchandometer. Now, first off, I'm going to give the Lady Bing to this moment. Brad Marchand hoisting an invisible Stanley Cup in Vancouver to celebrate the Bruins win there. To me, this is innocuous. Your thoughts, Pete?
Yeah, I think that this is a good one. I think that at the time when it happened, I thought it was great. I think there's been too much of the, hey, I've won a Stanley Cup thing since then, because he's now lost more than he's won. So I think you got to win another one before you can go back to the, hey, I've won a Stanley Cup before type deal.
All right, we're going to go one step up on the Marchandometer to the, oh, come on, bro, moment, in which he is standing next to Cam Atkinson and then standing on top of Cam Atkinson's stick and breaking the thing with his skate.
Oh, he tried a couple times, too. Oh, there we go, man.
Whatever gets you an advantage, I'm all for. And if you can take out the other guy's stick, it gives you a pretty significant advantage. So I think that one's pretty good.
That's in overtime as well. And by the way, Marchand said this about that after the game.
Speaking of sticks, did Atkinson's stick get in the way of your skate?
Yeah, I think he was trying to dull up my blade there. Send me to the room to get it sharpened. It's kind of rude of him to do.
Exactly.
Woof.
I know. Very rude, very rude. All right. I'm going to give the most annoying rating on the Marchandometer to his trolling of the media, which, you know, I take personally as an exalted member of the media. One-word answers. This is what he gives you sometimes.
Thanks, Jim. Brad, you said after the third game of the series, there's no panic in the room. What can you say about the way your group handled the next 3 games and ultimately advancing to the conference final?
We did a good job.
No, Tuukka Rask was saying this core isn't getting any younger. What do you make of the opportunity that lies ahead of you?
It's been fun.
So I see where this is going here. I'll ask you one more about your line. It got back together. You had said the chances over there were just starting to bury it these last few games. What kind of zone are you three in?
Very good.
Thanks.
Pete, you're an award-winning member of the media as well. I don't know if that's true, but you are a member of the media, I think.
Should be.
What did you think of trolling the media for Brad Marchand?
Hey, I think anytime you could put the media in their place, and it's welcome. We all need to be put in our place once in a while. And hey, Marshawn Lynch does it, and everybody loves it. But when Brad Marchand does it, he's annoying. So, sometimes you need to be put in your place, Greg.
I have a follow-up to this. I actually love Brad Marchand on social media. Some of the stuff that he's been saying, like the Oilers' response about Draisaitl and McDavid re-signing and escrow, etc. Where do you rank Marchand's social media game?
It's pretty high. I think my favorite one was however long ago when the Leafs were trying to re-sign Mitch Marner, and he suggested that he deserved a deal for $12 million annually. That was probably my favorite one.
All right, I'm going to give this next one a yikes on the Marchand-meter, which of course is his incident with Justin Williams. This was one of those deals where there's a little bit of violence involved in it, along with trolling. Let's take a look at this one. A little bit of a high stick here on Mr. Game 7. But then he gets a little funny afterwards and tells him to go to the penalty box, which I think is a classic Marchand moment. Pete, what are your thoughts about this one?
Yeah, I feel like this is the perfect encapsulation of Brad Marchand, because you have, the dirty play and the unsportsmanlike, and you kind of roll your eyes, and then immediately after, he wins back your hearts by trolling Justin Williams and throwing the C on his chest to mock him on the way to the penalty box. And then after the game, Justin Williams has no other option than to be like, well, I should have known better, and that one's on me. So I think that was like the perfect Brad Marchand experience.
That's the best part, is that Justin Williams says, it's on me.
Right, without question.
That's the best part of the whole thing.
Because at the end of the day, you got to respect game, right? Game, respect game.
That's hilarious.
All right, finally, the most egregious one. We wouldn't be doing this countdown without including these highlights. Of course, it is the infamous licking incidents from Brad Marchand from a few years ago. Licking Leo Komarov, licking our colleague Ryan Callahan. And the NHL at one point having to come down and saying, "Hey, buddy, why don't we stop licking people?" Pete, you obviously have talked about this ad infinitum through the years. Your thoughts in hindsight on licking gate?
It's just absurd. I mean, anytime you go to work and you end up licking somebody in front of thousands of people, it's absurd. And to do it and the way that he did it, and to kind of get away with it the way that he did it is outrageous. It's just off the charts absurd. But now it's become the most shared image of Brad Marchand on social media whenever you say anything positive about him. So he'll never live that one down, I don't think.
I also love how Callie and Marchand had a moment at a game earlier this year, because Callie was between the benches, and they kind of addressed it where Marchand was like, "Sorry, Callie." Like, well, what do you say in a moment like that? It's hilarious.
I got to follow up though, Pete. What is more shared, Marchand licking or the glove over the mouth and him crying afterwards on the bench? Which one do you get more play?
Well, I mean, personally speaking, I get probably the crying one after the Stanley Cup. So you're probably right. I will retract that statement.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, last question for you, Pete. Probably our most important one. You went to a Bruins game recently. It was in Los Angeles, and all of a sudden you become the CEO of Getty Images somehow, some way. You end up with like the most perfect picture in the database. How on earth did this happen?
I don't know. I mean, they just found the happiest guy in the building and took a picture of me. I mean, the last 4 games, I think, for the Bruins that I've gone to have been when they were eliminated by the Islanders in the playoffs. Then I went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final when they lost. I went to Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final when they lost. And then, I also went to Tuukka Rask's last game before he retired. So all those games are just absolutely devastating for me as a Bruins fan. So to watch them hang a touchdown on the Kings, I was the happiest guy in all of Los Angeles. So thankfully, somebody was there to capture my one happy moment in life.
Incredible stuff. Biggest celebrity to be photographed at a Kings game since Chet Hanks. Now, Pete, Golden Knights Bruins tonight. Your take. What are you looking for in this game?
I mean, I'm just looking to see what these, what the teams look like against each other, and I think the Bruins need to establish more consistency down the stretch. I don't know what they're going to look like in a couple of weeks after the deadline, but this is a team that has some holes that I'm concerned about. So I want to see them sort of address that and that consistency down the stretch.
Definitely have to follow Pete on social media. Also find his stuff on Bally Sports. Pete joining us here on The Drop. Appreciate you, my dude. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that does it here for The Drop. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget, a huge night of hockey on ESPN. On Plus, 7 p.m. Eastern start, it is the Caps and the Canes in Washington. And then later on ESPN, Golden Knights and Bruins. Should be a fun one.
Should be an amazing one. Thank you, Michael Bunting. Thank you, Kevin Weeks. Thank you, Pete Blackburn. Thank you, Gritty. Thank you, Iron Man, for saving the universe and sacrificing yourself. Spoiler! Spoiler, you sacrificed yourself.
See you next week.
Now Teravainen, sharp angle, he scores! Alex Ovechkin lets it fly! It's pasta time!